the bottom line now, here we go to, yeah, there you go, Howard. So now we're going to go to the demonstration process. I asked you guys earlier at the beginning, if you did, it's great. If not, I can come up with a zillion. I've had, in 35 years, I've had some of the craziest customers you could ever imagine, some of the funnest customers in the world you could ever imagine, and that's why I like sales. It's so challenging to deal with all the different personalities out there. And to bring them around to selling, you know, from the person, I will only buy a Hoover, as they walk out with the simplicity. I would never buy a Janome sewing machine here. I'm here to buy a Thoth. And there's three people. One wanted to buy a Thoth, one wanted to buy a Viking, one came in on Elna. And one with the Elna, the older Elnas, she was actually buying for her. She was buying one for her daughter. She ended up buying a Janome, and all three of them. And I actually had a rocket scientist guy, luckily from NASA, who understood mechanics. And I just let him do most of it. I just let him see the products and see the demonstration. And he basically sold all his machines for him. I got the commission, but I sure appreciated his help. So the key thing is knowing how to present stuff, knowing how to demonstrate it. And the key thing is you have to have the situation in your store where you have these products to compete against. And if you do not have the Rainbows, Kirby's, Electrolux, Rainbows, Thermix, Vortex, I'm sure you'll get them in through repair, you can make them like new, refurbished, still give them the same warranty the door-to-door guys do, easily enough. It's 5 years, and it's a limited warranty. You could very much easily do that. So, you know, that being said, that's the other part of the store. You've got to have product there. And I think it's a wise investment if you're in this industry and you plan on staying. You know, if you're temporary, I understand, it's a big investment. But if you can't demonstrate and show them, they're not going to believe you. You're not going to be as credible. They're not going to have the confidence yet again in what you're doing. So did anybody have any objections, or how about dealing with the internet? How many of you have problems with the internet? No one? Oh, I'm impressed. Okay, you do. What kind of problems do you have with the internet? You can just shout it out.
Problems we have?
Yeah, lower pricing.
Right now, we're just getting it set up so that I can actually sell home.
Oh, okay. So you're going to join the you're going to join the traders. No, I'm teasing. Arr, the piracy of eBay.
Don't have the options.
No, and you know that's a wise way to go. I mean, if you'd have told me I'd be selling, you know, refurbished Tuvas, Eureka's, and Dirt Devils, but I have a way of doing that, and I'll share that with you too. We used to do it with just used vacuums. In fact, in Vegas, I was in Vegas at the time. We used to literally buy hundreds of used vacuum cleaners from the Rainbow and Kirby guys. You know, $5 each, $10 each, whatever. We turn out and rebuild them, and that was our refurb vacuums. But that's back when you could refurbish a vacuum cleaner. You know, today refurbishing most vacuum cleaners is like sort of like resharpening a blade on a big razor. You know, it's not a great investment of time and energy. But you can still do refurb on the higher end stuff. But what we would do, and it worked really, really successfully, you can also do your own financing. Here, how many of you can afford to finance your own stuff? I gotta let you in, you all can. The other thing that we do, very easy. You know, when people come in for those low-end vacuum cleaners, I don't want to appear like the Rolls Royce dealership, that if you have to ask for the price, you can't afford it. Ever been there? So the way that we compete, I don't say no to anybody's money. It's a policy that I grew up with, and there's this sign that I read, you know, going to school in Missouri. It said this: "We're not prejudiced here. We'll take anybody's money." And I thought, man, that's a good business policy. We really will. And there's money to be made throughout the whole line. The thing you don't want to do, of course, is sell them a Dirt Devil, Hoover, Eureka to the guys that, yeah, because the next time they may buy from you, they may buy from Walmart, Kmart, Shopko, or Costco. So the way that we do it is a little bit different. Is we let them know that there's different grades of quality, and it's not like we really have to let them know. I just have to ask them what their last vacuum was, and it's probably in their repair shop, right? That's why they're needing a vacuum. It's probably a good Eureka to have a large percentage drawer, especially in my area where people aren't really rich. But all we do is we take them around, and I let them know that, you know, you can get refurb, you know, Royals, Hoovers, Eurekas, Dirt Devils. I mean, they're dirt cheap. I mean, I can actually sell them and almost double my money, which is not a bad place to be. But I don't sell it for that reason. I'll have a $75 Hoover, Eureka, Dirt Devil. But when I go to demonstrate a sell, I'll say, well, obviously, how long did you have your last vacuum cleaner? See, the critical thing in demonstrating is the conversation. If if I'm just telling them everything, I'm not selling. If you're not, you're not selling when you're telling. You're selling when you're asking them a question and response. So that's why it's so difficult when I'm talking to a ton of salespeople and trying to do a two-way conversation here without having real input. And that's why I like the real input, because you can see how it flows and how simple it is, feeding back to them what they fed to you. But the bottom line is this: when a customer comes to me and they've got their Hoover vacuum cleaner, their double vac, whatever it is, and it wasn't worth repairing because the brush roll melted down and the HEPA filter is more, by the time we replace that in the housing, it's cheaper to buy a Hoover vacuum, right? And that's the way they designed it, built-in obsolescence. Isn't that your experience? See what I'm doing right now? Eliciting a response from you, for those of you that are still kind of asleep. It's just, if someone's just jabbing and jabbing, we're all going to conk out, right? So the bottom line is this. So I asked them, how long did the last vacuum cleaner last you? Get them thinking about it. In fact, I told you that I would tell you ways that you can double your vacuum cleaner repairs and double your bag and belt cells, which for a lot of people could make a nice dent in your utilities and overhead. And I also said they would increase your vacuum cells by double. Those are pretty bold statements, weren't they? Well, I'm going to tell you the thought process behind that, and then I'm going to show you the physical demonstration. Like I said, we're going to be leaving here and walking down where I've got the gauge and everything. And Banks Vacuum has allowed me to use their vacuums to demonstrate. Have you guys heard of Banks Vacuums? It's like a Simplicity Mealy. I don't know if he likes me saying that, but that's what it looks like to me. Which is pretty cool if you ever had a Simplicity where you had a lot of problems with the power heads. And now you got the Mealy power. It's actually pretty cool. Mind you, I'm a Simplicity person, obviously. But getting back to my point, so as far as the setting up your customer, boy, my mind just went blank for a second. I apologize. But anyway, getting back online, we were talking about dealing with the internet and setting up our customers. Oh yeah, that's right. That's the repair part of it. So when a customer comes to with the repair, all I do is I take them from the repair floor. See, our store is set up really special. We have the repair department way back from the sales floor. I'm not one of those guys that has a brand new vacuum cleaner plugged in right next to the repair floor. To me, that's too much pressure. It just is. I don't like that. Now, we do have a Simplicity rental center right next to our repair center where there are Simplicities sitting there. The puppy dog cell, right? You go through the puppy dog cell themselves. Well, take the little guy home, see how your kids like him. If you don't, just return him in a month. What, that's going to happen? Oh, it's such a cute little puppy. Of course not. And it's the same thing with the Simplicity. But the critical thing is we don't just have them there and hand it to them, see it. We use that program to do a full demonstration. They don't know they're seeing a full demonstration, but we want to make sure they're using the equipment properly, aren't we? And in that, we do the demonstration. Now let's say that their vacuum cleaner was actually worth repairing in their mind, right? I take the vacuum cleaner over, if it's a Dyson or a bagless vacuum cleaner. Again, we're in Kalispell, Montana, so that particular choice, it's not anything bad about the vacuum. It's just our area with a lot of fine dust. And if you have areas with a lot of fine dust, you'll find the bagless systems are very ineffective, very poor airflow. So wouldn't it be awesome if I had a way of showing them airflow? I do, and it's really simple. It's a minute demonstration, less, and it's with the gauges that I'm going to show you later. But I bring them over there and I test their vacuum cleaner on that gauge. And the gauge goes to 20, and we've just serviced their vacuum cleaner, and their vacuum, if it's a ball vacuum, pulls a 5. What do you think is going to go through their mind? What are the rest of those numbers? See, they're leading the cell demonstration. My store is set up. The customers walk in the store and they're looking at that Dyson ball vacuum cleaner. They're leading the process, aren't they? No force. I can comment on it because they looked at it for 2 or 3 seconds. Oh, have you seen those before? Let's pull it down. Let's go over to the floor. And where is my demo floor? Oh, it's surrounded by the vacuums I want to sell, isn't it? As well as the high-end vacuum cleaners they might have seen elsewhere, the Kirby, Rainbow, Electrolux. Maybe the reason why they're interested in Dyson is they just had a Kirby demonstration. I know it sounds backwards. Just had a Kirby demonstration, hate their vacuum cleaner. Oh, you have Dysons. And then, well, actually, I saw a Kirby demonstration. Oh, well, here's our Kirby section. How many do you want? I mean, in our town, we get a lot of them traded in because that Kirby guy, he's doing his job. I'm grateful for that. Same thing with the Dysons. I'm grateful that Dysons upped the price of the retail outlets, aren't you all? Well, what is it before Dyson and Norm came along? You get a $60, it was going down, 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 down. I was ready for the six-packs to come out. You know, it was really going bad. So it's awesome we have these people there, and you never want to say anything bad about it, because if you say something bad about it, the bottom line is if I say one bad thing about Dyson, $60 million advertising campaign, being created the bull barrel, you know, and all the other things that he's done, and of course that awesome urinal. But anyway, no, the bottom line is he's done a lot of stuff. He's got a lot more recognition than me in Kalispell, Montana, right?
No.
And this guy's from California, so he really knows his stuff. So the bottom line is where's the credibility? Where's his confidence going to be? It's going to be in a $60 million advertising campaign. At least I hope it would, or Dyson should get his money back. Wouldn't you agree? Or so the key thing is it's imperative not to say anything bad about these things. It's imperative to make your customers, just don't say anything that destroys your confidence credibility. And if they do say something about the Dyson, I'm going to go through the whole thing. Yeah, that's great. Look at this. Now, by the way, do you have all Baraflow and ProRex? Oh. By the way, I don't know if you guys know my famous O, but that's my big sales answer to everything. Oh. Why do I say oh? I'll tell you why. I'm not telling you, it's a sneaky question. And I always remember it. Remember my memory? I almost lost it a second ago. Oh. So just to give you an idea, you go to a doctor's office, and you say, "Doctor, I got this spot on my back, man. I don't know what it is." And he looks at it, and he goes, "Oh." I mean, are you thinking, oh, okay, cool. No, I'm going to, what do you mean, oh, what's wrong? And that's what I do. In fact, I'm going to walk you through the money, how to make more money in your bags and belts here real quick too. I hope I'm not leaving you off anything before that. We pretty much covered the Dysons. Oh yeah, I'll finish the demonstration part of it first. I'm sorry. So here I am in my store. I take the vacuum cleaner, and it's worth fixing. I stick it on the gauge, and they see it's got terrible performance. In fact, if you really want to have fun with my airflow gauge, I had 2 Hoover vacuum cleaners. They're both bagless. I used one for 30 minutes. Now this isn't Kalispell, Montana, not your area. And I ran it and did 30 minutes worth of demonstration in a week, because it's just, our demonstration's really quick. It's just, 5 minutes and bam, we're done. But the bottom line is after running in our store for 30 minutes in 1 week, I had a brand new unit, and I had that unit, and I put it on my airflow gauge. And on the airflow gauge, the brand new unit pulled a 10. After just 30 minutes of use in my store after a week, it went all the way down to a 7. And the one thing about the airflow gauge, because there'll probably be more, always what happens when I do this thing, a huge crowd kind of comes around, so you guys won't be able to hear me, and I'll be hoarse at the end of it. But what I want you to understand this, when we look at the gauge, there's a 2 and there's a 4, right? If a vacuum cleaner goes to 20, all the way to 20, but if one vacuum pulls 2 and one pulls a 4, doesn't make the vacuums twice as powerful as the other vacuum. What's happening with an airflow gauge is every movement is double the number beneath it, because it's not just straw suction, if that makes sense to you from the physics perspective of it anyway. So when you've got that huge loss, we're talking about a 30% loss in airflow after 30 minutes in Kalispell, Montana. If you guys are in Vegas, it's almost as good. You had to find us too here. But anyway, so the key thing is I put their machine on the gauge, and I just do one of those. Well, yeah, so that's actually what it's supposed to pull. And what do you mean? No, what do you mean? Well, this guy serviced it. How come what's over point that? Well, actually, I started agitator motor filtration system. I started explaining to them about the vacuum. And I go, well, how do you like this vacuum anyway? Because that's what starts the process. But the gauge helps me do it. And again, what's behind me? Well, you know what? You know and I know this wasn't the best vacuum ever. We don't buy good stuff at Walmart and Kmart or the box stores because it's the best. We buy it because it's disposable. And it's not a lot of money. And trust me, I'm there too. But I will tell you this, one thing my dad taught me, when you're not rich, you can't afford to buy poor. And when he said poor, he meant poor quality. And every time I've done it, it's been a waste of money. Because it's not just that your vacuum cleaner is not performing well for very long. The real critical thing is this. Your car is the 5th most expensive purchase in your home. And The vacuum is your insurance policy on that carpet, because you know the warranty from the carpet manufacturer isn't very strong. So the critical thing that all all carpet manufacturers state is that having the right type of vacuum for your carpet is key. And it's not just that the carpet's going to last longer, but do you have kids? Isn't that a question? Yeah. Do you ever see them on the ground? Do you ever sit on the carpet? And do you have pets? Yeah. See, the carpet is the biggest filter in your home. And it's crazy because you see all these studies being done years back where they're saying, all the allergist specialists were saying, rip out all the carpet. And now they're saying you can actually put the carpet back in. You want to know why? It's not that the carpet's really changed that much, although technologically speaking, you know, they have different names that they use in technical terms, but it basically makes the carpet germ-proof to a certain degree. But the bottom line is what's really changed is that the vacuums now have filtration systems that aren't spewing dust back out into the air. And the problem with the filtration systems on vacuums is there isn't any regulation on it. All it is just there are the appearance of having HEPA filtration. In fact, you'll see HEPA media, HEPA-type filtration, and even the filter itself might be HEPA, but they'll still, what good is a HEPA filter? Just like they have HEPA masks. If I put the mask on tight, I'm good. But what happens if I'm holding it out? I'm only going to get some side air, and the way that you can discover this on a vacuum cleaner here, let me open up the housing. What do you see? Because what you see in the housing is what you're going to see in the motor, which is a whole other issue. We're talking more repair, aren't we? Because motors don't like dirt. It increases the heat and crud. Plus, you've got that heat going on in there and germs being grown and all that kind of stuff. It's not very sanitary, is it? And so the bottom line is if I see dust here in the bag housing, I know I've got dust throughout my home. And irrespective of what's written on the vacuum, I love the Hoover wind tunnel. It's not actually a HEPA vacuum, but it gives a fine definition of what HEPA filtration means right on it, strictly for informational purposes, not because it's what the vacuum does. So it's through doing that, agitator motor filtration, and explaining the agitator, explaining the motor, explaining the filtration system, that I'm able to guide my customer through this really crooked path of what choices they have, especially if they do have allergies. So the gauge allows me to open the door for better quality vacuum cleaners. And then when I let them know that better quality vacuums range from $250 on up, American made, 3-year warranty. No, am I going to sell them a wooden brush roll? But that's what they start at, isn't it? And they go, oh, well, I thought this would be a lot more. Well, they do have other models, but you said you had pets. Well, let's talk about the wooden brush roll versus the metal brush roll. And when we talk about a brush roll, we can gain confidence. Remember that first C that we began with? The first C is confidence in the salesperson. The way that my customer has confidence in me is that everything I say is honest and accurate, and I'm sharing them with information they never heard anywhere else. So the bottom line is I'm going to talk about the brush roll, and when I describe the brush roll, I'm going to talk about the material it's made out of, because that's going to affect its longevity, correct? I'm going to talk about how fast it spins, how many bristles it has. And I'm not counting each bristle, but is it 2 sets of bristles versus 4? Or is it 3, like the high-end simplicities use or incorporate? So I'm going to go from that, and then I'm going to go to the RPMs. There's a big difference between a 6,000 RPM brush roll with 3 brush strokes, spinning 18,000 brush strokes per minute, versus 1,500 on a Dyson, isn't there? Wouldn't you agree? And if you're able to explain to them, it's like little fingers picking up the dirt. 18,000 brush strokes per minute versus you're going to have a difference in performance. And so the other thing that I've done is I've turned my store, instead of having to worry about other testing facilities, like the Consumer Report, I test the vacuums here. And what does it take to become an official testing facility for your own areas? Gorilla Tape, where you can mark out a spot about the width of a vacuum cleaner, maybe 3 feet long, and a postal scale that you'll spend $15 for maybe. And now you're an official, well, you can buy a $3,000 particle counter if you want also. Really, you don't need to. I bought one and I've never had to show it to a customer yet because I memorized all the different readings and stuff. But the bottom line is, but I got it. But when I make that kind of investment and they can just, all it takes is, okay, I'm going to test this vacuum. I've got 8 ounces of sand. I'm going to pour it into that test grid. Why sand? Because carpet manufacturers have said, believe it or not, it's not the pet hair. I know the pet hair is gross, but that's on the surface. That's why the Dyson does great on pet hair and stuff like that. It's all on the surface, and it's a surface cleaner. But for the deep down sanding grit, I mean, you've got the thicker carpet, right? Oh, yeah. Yeah, Dyson's just going to pick up the surface dirt. In fact, I can show you why, or whatever vacuum it is. It doesn't have a brush that exceeds the. Here's your nozzle housing here, right? If I found this out, that if the brush strip doesn't pass that nozzle housing, it's not really going through the carpet and agitating up deep down sand and grit. And also the deep cleaning test that I do, that I'm about to describe to you, backs that up in spades. I mean, it's really sad how poorly some vacuums perform. But when you get to that level of testing, and it's so simple, when you get bored in an afternoon, pull a vacuum out, take 8 ounces of sand, grind it into the little test grid within your duct tape, get your vacuum cleaner, make sure everything's honest, set everything right on it, put a brand new bag filter in it, and go 1 stroke forward, 1 stroke back, lift up the nozzle so that the housing's cleared, take the bag, toss it on a scale. You put down 8 ounces, what did it pick up? Now the whole idea is not to find the magic vacuum that picks up the whole 8 ounces. The whole idea is they have so much sand and debris in that carpet that I know it's not going to pick it up with 1 stroke. I'm trying to set up a means test here. I'm trying to set up a level of performance that I know this vacuum cleaner will do with 1 stroke. And the bottom line is when the Dyson's doing less than 1 ounce, and your Simplicity 6000, well, I'll say 10 amp motors are doing 3 ounces, Arbor cars, and when you go to the 12 amp, it picks up a ½ ounce. But I can give these people these figures of deep cleaning, and I'm showing them it's the sand that the carpet manufacturers are concerned with. It's like sandpaper. It degrades the fibers, it frizzes it, buffs it out. It's terrible. And the other thing is when we're talking about the actual type of carpet, have they ever heard of frise carpeting? What a nightmare that stuff is. There's only a couple of vacuums that'll even handle it. You know, Simplicity came up with one, but also designing the brush. And by the way, Simplicity's not paying me to say this, okay? I'm just a person, if something works and I believe it works, I'm just going to state it. Or if something doesn't work, I'll state it carefully. You can get sued. But the bottom line is it's all about the type of brush strip that's in the vacuum. And what a cool thing, you can have one size that fits all, which is what everything's coming out of China, right? Most of those vacuums look like the same, just different paint jobs. Different pig and different side of lipstick. But the bottom line is that when you look at the Simplicity brush roll, you actually have different brushes for different types of carpet. And how do I describe a brush roll in the demonstration? It's really simple. I've already said I talk about the material it's made out of. I discussed how fast it spins, right? And really the third thing is the length and softness and thickness, the actual bristle. And it's just like, and to make my customer feel comfortable with this part, what I say, have you ever brushed your teeth? And most people say, yeah. Last year, but in Montana. But I did her, yeah. Same with my bath. But anyway, bottom line is that, I forgot this is going on Facebook, but no one is going to read this. Bottom line is this, and by the way, I love Montana. Best state ever. We all have guns up there. So getting back to the toothbrush, I just say, you know how they're soft, medium, and hard. Well, isn't that simple? Wouldn't you think that there would be a brush for wool carpeting that's different than synthetic carpeting? Doesn't it just make sense? And different lengths are going to affect or act differently, you know? And by the way, the 2-motor system, when I do the deep down cleaning test, you're talking 6.9 ounces all the way up to 7.5 ounces out of the 8 with 1 stroke on their 2-motor systems. Pretty impressive. So it allows you to build the value on the machines, not based on, you know, anything other than pure science is the way I try to approach it. And that's what I try to explain to them. We're not going to be stuck up in bowling balls. We're not, you know. In fact, the way that I approach the air meter, the power gauge, is I say this: if you go to a car lot and you buy a car and you're talking to the sales guy, and you say, yeah, I want a really powerful car, he's not going to say, oh yeah, this one's got tons of power. Oh, this one's even got more. Oh, and this one's the most power of all. He's going to have a horsepower rating, isn't he? And he's not going to have a horsepower rating from the engine, although they can, but that's skewed. What I want is a horsepower rating from the tire, from the wheel, right? And the way that's created is something called the dynometer. Well, I'm not a motorhead, I know you're not a motorhead, but when you go to a car dealership, they tell you the horsepower. Well, guess what this gauge does? It tells you the horsepower of the vacuum. And I'll let you know, 4 is more than 2. Just like when you put your foot down on a really powerful car, you know, if you're in the right car, and they say it's got a lot of horsepower, you'll know it. Same difference. It's really simple. And that's why agitator motor filtration system. So I've talked about the agitator, I've talked about how it's made, the material it's made of, how fast it spins, because it gives you a brush stroke per minute. You have to be careful how you're flying through all this stuff with customers. I'm hitting you with everything. Most of the stuff I really don't have to go over in great detail. But because you guys are in my industry, I expect you want more than, you know, it's a metal brush roll. Ooh, metal good, plastic bad. You know, it's obvious. And of course, around my showroom, you think I might have a plastic brush roll that's melted down? 1 or 2 or 3? Absolutely. You think I'd have a metal brushes and moving parts? Do you want metal or plastic? Plastic is awesome. It's impacting. Big car bumpers that is super strong. But if you take a lighter to it, it's a whole other situation, or if you add heat to it. And that's what I'm explaining to them in the moving parts. And not just the brush roll, also in all the moving parts, the neck assemblies, analyze those components. And the bottom line is that when your customer's done leaving you, all of a sudden you have customers coming in from your store. And this is the most powerful way to do this demonstration that I'm getting to. When you can incorporate all 3 C's in your demonstration, in your presentation, confidence in the store, confidence in the salesperson. The first C, confidence in the manufacturer of the product and confidence in the actual model that they're selecting specifically for them. Confidence that they have in themselves to make that decision. And their expert is now you. You become their expert. You replaced their expert. And it kind of goes back to the 1. The bottom line is what you've now done is turn that customer into a salesperson. And when you've turned that customer into a salesperson, guess what happens? You'll have a customer come into your store and say, yeah, I was over at Lowe's looking at Dyson vacuums, and this guy, I don't know who he was, but he said I shouldn't buy it, I should come here to learn about vacuums. The other thing that we do that's been incredibly successful, how many people out here have just like house cleaners in your areas? A lot in Kalispell, Montana, lots. And one of the first things I did in carpet cleaners is I contacted these people and gave them steep discounts on our product. We still made money, but I gave them, and there's, you know how much profit there is in certain brands. I gave them steep discounts for one reason, and I told them this when they bought it. I said, because you're a commercial account, we have special pricing for you. And the reason why we do, I won't lie, it's because we know that people go to you and ask what's the best. And you want to share with that information with them because you are the experts in your field. I just don't want you to tell them it's the best because I gave you a discount on it. I just want 5 minutes of your time so that I can turn you into an expert on so you can share it with them. But I will give you the discount. So I turn them into my walking salespeople. And then I say to them this as they're buying it and leaving. And I say, by the way, if you don't like this, tell them that too. And if you don't like it, please bring it back. Because we are not a Simplicity dealer, we're not a Ricard dealer, we're not a Hoover dealer, we're not a Dyson dealer. What we're really interested in is that when you buy something from us, we've done all the research that we can, and we've tried to incorporate everything that you want in this vacuum, but ultimately, we want to get you what you feel works best for you. And to be honest with you, if there was just one solution, we'd have a lot smaller store. Wouldn't we all? One product, right? So you've got to have that sincerity, and you've got to remember that once you get their money, to do that final close thing, because that'll open up the buybacks, the B-backs, you know, and it's so simple to do. Just telling them the things that are best going to help them in their environment, in their situation. And ultimately, you're going to be rewarded because they will be coming in. And they're going to appreciate it. And then you're going to be known as the place. I have people who work for Walmart that say, bring your sewing machine repairs, bring them to A1. Vacuum repairs, the Sears, they send them to us. I mean, it's funny. I actually called Sears to do a price check to see if we were in line on repair. And they go, oh, well, actually, A1 Vacuum is the place you need to take it. You know, it'll take a month to get it from us. You know, I mean, mind you, this is Kalispell, Montana. But I'm thinking, yeah, thank you. I was going to send him something, and then I thought, no, I might mess it up. So, you know, if you've got Walmart, Kmart, Shopko, Quashco in your town, what you can also do is give them your business cards for being the warranty center. Do you think they hate repairs? And what does the customer see when they buy a Hoover? First thing when they open the box, the biggest stop sign you've ever seen in your life. Do not return to the manufacturer. Do not return to the box store. And then on the vacuum cleaner, if that wasn't enough, there's a sticker on the vacuum now even. Do not return to the box store. Whatever you do, Call this 1-800 number. And I say, hey, just give us our number. We'll take care of them all. How do we handle it? If it's Costco? There's no one here from Costco, I'm pretty sure. They have the most wonderful return policy. Up to a year. I love Costco. And I just ask the customer a simple question. You've had it how long? It's already failed? I wish I could say that didn't happen often, but realistically, you bought from my favorite store, Costco. They'll take it back. They'll go, oh, they'll do it. They're awesome. But let me just show you something in the same price range that's not going to have that issue. Isn't that honest? Isn't it simple? You know, will I handle the warranty? Absolutely. Love to handle it for them. But am I really putting my customer first if I do the warranty on a Bissell shampoo? You know, really? Used it 3 times and it fell? Let's look at that. Okay. 3 uses, $200. What a deal that was. You know? So now, as far as the 3 things that I was going to share with you, I'm going to wrap it up here. We'll do this in 5 minutes. What time is it supposed to end? Yeah, okay, I can wrap this up in 5 real easy. Now we're going to talk about what you need to do. I learned this actually from a guy called Mark Tabor in Las Vegas. He's an Indian guy. He's funny as heck. He's awesome.
Mark Tabor, can I help you? Would you like to buy a vacuum cleaner? Yes, I have the best vacuum cleaner you've ever seen. Sewing machine? Yes, it's the best.
You know, he's just one of those guys that has the perfect product for you. Awesome guy and a hard-working son of a buck. I mean, dude, you'll see him at the end of these shows buying out every booth and hauling it off to a big U-Haul to put in his stores. I mean, what a work ethic, man. But he taught me this. He said, you need to create your business today for tomorrow. That's really critical. And this is what I'm about to share with you, how I came up with how to do it. And the trick is this. When somebody comes in to buy one belt, right? They want a belt for whatever vacuum. It's imperative that everything that you say is measured. You have only so many words that you can use. And every word that you use is one less word that you have in time. So if you can write this stuff down in your mind and set up your own little presentations, you'll be awesome. But this is how I handle it. They come in for a belt. Oh, and I got one question to start with. How many customers do you have a day that come in to buy a vacuum cleaner? I want to buy a vacuum. And we're lucky to get 1, maybe 2 on a Saturday, if we're really, really lucky. But you know what's interesting about our store? Now, we're a fabric store too, but we'll have 70 to 80 customers a day. So what are all the rest coming in for, right? Get that in the back of your head. So now my next question for you is, how many customers a day do you have that want a bag or a belt? And what do we know about the customer that wants a bag or a belt? What's at home? It's called a vacuum, right? Simple logic. So this is what I do. I go over to my belt aisle and I grab 3 belts instead of 1, or 3 packages, whatever it is. I'll grab 3 packages and I'll say, there are $6 for 2 belts. Grab 3 packages. How many would you like? You're going to be shocked. Oh, 3? They'll take almost always what you have in your hand. They might take 2. They might just want 1. But you know what the other information you're going to get? Well, I only want 1 belt because this thing's not working really well. Oh, where does that lead us? Most people would say the sales floor for a demo. I'm patient. You know, I'm like the ox. You know, the ox is slow, but the earth is patient. So the bottom line is this. What I say instead is, how long have you had that vacuum, by the way? You don't think about it. And the last time you had it serviced? And they'll tell me that. Oh, I didn't know it needed. Oh. So it's really funny. Some say, oh, it needs to be serviced. Oh, well, I'll bring it right in. I'll let you put the belt on. See what we just did there? We went from a $3 belt to possibly, or excuse me, $6 worth of belts to $18 worth of belts to now we've got a whole, $44 95% service is what we charge for vacuums, right? $50 service. So the amount of money that we just got is amazing. But the key thing is the customer asked the question, didn't he? In other words, I was responding to him. I wasn't going to go to him like the Surgeon General. Do you realize that your general surgeon has discovered that your vacuum cleaner should be serviced every year? Does that work with cigarettes and warnings? It doesn't work in real life either. People don't like that teacher approach. They don't like to be told. But if you ask them the question and use the old powerful, oh, when they get to, when's the last time you had it repaired? Oh, can you remember oh? Think your employees can remember it? Oh, it can be a positive thing too. Oh, it's wonderful and it's easy to remember. So the bottom line is that's where we go from there. But let's just say they wanted the belts. Now we're going to go to the till and they like their vacuum. Or they didn't give me any feedback that I could work off of, right? So now we're back to my till. You know what I'm going to do? As quickly as possible, I'm going to give them their change. Till close change. Because when that customer came into your store, they weren't thinking, oh, it's my day off. What am I going to do today? I know, I'll get to go to the vacuum store and buy a belt and get forced into a vacuum demonstration. That'll just really make my day because I don't have anything to do. And that's not what they're thinking, man. They're thinking, oh, geez, no, you do it, honey. I don't know where the back, I don't know what belt it takes. I always get that crap wrong. You know, I got the wrong belt last time. I can't even do the wash. Can't the colors get along? No, I mean, it's, the bottom line is this. They really don't want to be there. So if you make it quick and you're intelligent, you take away anything that can destroy their confidence. Maybe he's only got $1 in his pocket. So why am I going to tell him how much each belt is? Anything that can be a negative, I'm going to use those words sparingly. $3 a belt, there's 2 belts, $6. So here we go. So there's your belt, and here we are. And then he's simply going to say, okay, I want all 3 packages. I only want 1 belt. And then we go to the till, and I take his money. And you know what's happened to him? His honey-do list, because I was just number 5 down the line. He's also got to pick up dog food at the store and whatever else he's got to do. So I made what he thought was going to be a pain, enjoyable, quick and easy. And now what I'm going to do is a favor for him. I'm going to say, oh, by the way, after I give him his change, how long have you had that vacuum? And he'll pause and he said, oh man, I've already got this one done. This wasn't so bad after all. Oh, well, I don't know, a year or 2, 3, you know, okay. And the last time you had it serviced? Oh. Oh, well, I was going to think, well, it needs to be serviced. It brings that whole conversation up. So I'm taking a belt to a vacuum repair, aren't I? Isn't that going to increase? Don't you have more vacuum bags and belt cells than you have vacuum repairers? Don't you have more vacuum repairers and belts than you have vacuum cells? Do you see how they all work together? It's so simple. I must be a genius. No, it really is easy, or else I wouldn't have come up with it. Trust me, I'm not no genius. So the bottom line is this. I take that customer from there, and now they bring their repair in. Do I do the demo now? No. I check it in, man. You know, and I go through it, you know, and I go from there, and then I call them up, and they pick it up, and then we're in front of my gauge, and I'm going, oh. Well, you know, I hate this vacuum, and they've already paid for the repair at this point, too, by the way. I got their money on it. Whatever that repair is. Do you think vacuums are on their mind now that they got this thing fixed, and they're thinking, well, should I really spend $75 on that vacuum? Or, you know, I mean, I've seen new ones for $69. Do you think that the perfect opportunity to talk to somebody about buying a new vacuum cleaner is when they're having problems with their old one? And if it's a cheapy, crappy old one, what do you think my chances are that they're not going to be happy where they're at? That's why I have entry-level machines. Well, I realize you just spent $70 on that, but you know, I actually have reconditioned. What it is because we're a warranty center for Hoover, Dirt, whatever. They give us special pricing and refurbs. You know the ones that people buy at Costco and return? I won't say I sent them, but anyway, get them through the back door. But the bottom line is, well, they have the full warranty. They've completely gone through, and you get the full warranty. Oh, really? Well, that's only $50 more than this one. You know it is. Would you like to see one? Yeah, gee, yeah. In fact, we can put what you paid for that, we'll put it towards this. Oh, yeah. Because how long have you had that? Have you liked it? Well, I've heard, and it's amazing. Well, what about those Dysons? Awesome. $600, $400, $600 price range instantaneously. Is that a good place to be in our stores? Absolutely. So the bottom line is it's from the belt on the bags the same way. I assume that you would know that if I said when they wanted belts, what's the next natural question that I'm going to ask them? Oh, did you need any bags or filters? Because there's bagless vacuums, right? So then it's going to be that. And what do you think I'm going to do with the bags? Well, how many did you want? Doubling your sales. But what they want to filter, right? They want, if it's a bagless vacuum cleaner and they want to filter, doesn't the, most of those vacuums are $79, $89, $99, $129, not a lot of money. And if it's a Shark vacuum cleaner and the brush goes worn out, I love their return. I love the way they repair that. They send you a whole nozzle with the motor attached, for $129. Beautiful. You know, I'm more than happy to install it, but for $129, is this really the best investment of your money for your cleaning product? You know, and you, again, the situation, there is no selling. As far as I'm concerned, it's just showing and asking. How long have you had it? When's the last time you had it serviced? Oh. And if you do that with every sale over the till that is a bag or a belt filter related to it, and guess what? You know that works on sewing machines too. How many of you sell fabric? Nobody? Okay. You do. Oh, that's right, you do. Fabric, it's a simple way. They come to the till with fabric. Oh, what type of sewing machine do you have? How long have you had? Last time you had? Oh, how many people do you have buying sewing machines a day versus fabric? I know it's quadruple for me. No, I mean, it's crazy. It's just natural segue selling is actually what this is what I'm describing here. Now, if they actually, so we've gone from the bag and the belts, we've gone to the repair area, and you can see how everything, you just keep growing it, don't you? And never any pressure to buy, unless the customer asks the question, what about these Dysons? Oh, well here, let's show you one. Don't tell them, show them. Demonstrate, you know, as far as I'm concerned, the sale doesn't begin until the demonstration begins. And that's the key behind it. Well, anyway, for those of you that want to see the physical demonstration on the gauge and how it works, I'm going to be walking down to the booth right now. You can just follow me if you'd like. But thank you so much for your time. I hope I worked you covered. As far as Facebook, you know my name, Dagon, D-A-G-O-N, Browning. If you go to sign on Facebook,